And grandma would always tell me like, you know, lick them with something. I'm afraid of them. Clap them in them backside or
Yes.
something like that.
Anthony,
How are you?
I am doing great. Yourself?
I am fabulous.
That's good. That's
Wonderful.
good.
Yes.
Thank you for joining me on my podcast.
It is my pleasure.
Thank you. And you're actually my first guest. First guest on set.
Well, I am the one.
The only one.
The only one. Hello.
Yes,
So
yes,
yes.
yes. And thank you guys for joining us. Today, I'm gonna just talk to Anthony, and for you guys to get a feel of who Anthony is, um, what was his early life like, what he's doing now, and where he sees himself. Maybe another 5, 6 years from now, or even a year from now.
Oh Jesus.
Yes. So, Anthony, tell us who's Anthony.
Um, Anthony is a outgoing, fun, loving, caring person
Mm-hmm.
when unprovoked.
Okay.
And just living, love to be in the moment of things and have a really good time. Um, Meticulous, determined, and fearless. Yeah.
Oh, those are very good adjectives to describe yourself. So, what gets Anthony provoked?
Uh, well, in this case, it would be restructuring a question and rephrasing.
Well, hopefully there won't be any restructuring and rephrasing today.
I hope
So
so.
you and I will be on good terms at the end.
Yes. Yes, please.
All right. All right. And we've been friends for about 12, 13 years, maybe.
Yeah.
Yes, it's been a while.
Long time. Probably more than that.
It could be,
Yeah.
could be. But who's counting?
Hmm.
I mean, when you have a friend,
Jesus is.
right? Well, he keeps the record.
Yes.
So tell us, how was your growing up? How was life for you growing up? What are the things that you were most excited about growing up, and who were like your biggest inspiration?
Growing up, I was born in Kingston, Jamaica. I grew up with my grandmother and my mother,
Mm-hmm.
my siblings, aunt, and uncle, like a typical Jamaican household.
Yes.
My biggest inspirations are definitely my grandmother, and I have so much admiration for them, their determination, and also their ability to just make things work. And no matter what it was, where we were, whatever we wanted, they would definitely make it happen and really get it together to ensure that at the end the children
I
were happy.
totally get that. Because
Yeah.
I kind of grew up in a similar setting growing up.
That's one thing I love with Jamaican family is that Jamaican family are normally close knitted.
Yes.
Everybody is right around the corner, and
Even if it takes you half an hour to get there, it's right around the corner.
for you from your side, and there is that profound connection in every fiber of the family in Jamaica. Doesn't matter what it is, even if they have teeth and tongue. At the end of the day, just don't mess with the family. I grew up Christian, Church of God. So for me, when Christmas fell on a Sunday, we would have church in the morning,
Mm-hmm.
and after caroling service, we would get home and grandma would do this big cook down of everything. And then as time went on, she stopped cooking on Christmas Day and started cooking on Boxing Day. And everybody from our community coming to Miss Jean for dinner because they
Yes.
wanted the food from Miss Jean.
Yes. Sounds good.
Yeah.
So now that we know who Anthony was as a child, who was Anthony, as a teenager? What was he like?
Oh my God.
Is he I don't know if I should use the word typical. And maybe not typical, but was he well behaved? Did he give a lot of trouble? Did Judith have to come and
Not at all. So my childhood was very Christian. I got baptized at 12 years old.
Oh, you did.
Yes, I did. So I was very holy, and it was church, home, and school.
Mhm.
Very decent. I think one of the things that was one of the things my mother was always apprehensive about me and going into adulthood and going on my own and so forth. Was her biggest concern was that if I would have the ability to defend myself and speak up for myself, because as a child I did not do that.
Oh.
Was very soft, cry, lock myself away, take it from everybody, that sort of childhood. Wait until grandma or my mother come and then tell them
Mhm.
what happened, you know.
Oh.
So and then in the later part, now I got equipped with a little bravery, and through that skill, I learned to defend myself, to speak up, to represent myself, and
Mhm.
have a big mouth and I love to yap.
So, who do you say makes the most impact on you while you were growing up for you to get to that space where you can talk for yourself and not necessarily wait until mom comes home or grandma comes
It
home?
was grandma,
Yes.
when they would trouble me and call me names. Growing
Mm-hmm.
up, I was feminine and so forth, so I would be called name, and grandma
All
would
that.
always tell me like, lick them with something. I'm afraid of them. Clap them in them backside, or
Yes.
something like that.
Through
That, and she like constantly telling me like I should not be afraid. I should, whatever it is, me they have to defend you. And anytime them rampage you, me will defend you. Cause Fort Augustus don't make for dog. Fort Augustus is a female prison in Jamaica.
Yes.
So essentially, she was saying that if they mess with you and you defended yourself and they attack you, I will come and do the rest because I am not afraid to go to jail.
My grandmother too was also one of my defender. But I grew up with a smart mouth, so I was never quiet.
Oh, Lord.
But I was very obedient. Like to my parents, I was very obedient. I was very willing to do things around the house. But I've always had a smart mouth.
Yeah. My smart mouth was probably in my teenage, it started.
Hmm.
Yeah.
I've always had a smart mouth.
Oh,
Even
gosh. A
before
dirty
teenage.
mouth.
No, smart, not
Smart.
dirty.
Okay.
Yes. Which high school you went to?
I went to Pembroke Hall High School.
And how was that?
Oh, my God. All right. So, you know, that was a unique experience at Pembroke Hall,
Hmm.
from my household that I was coming from, my
Yes.
primary school that I was coming
Which
from,
is what?
the St. Richard's Primary School.
Okay. Shout out to
And,
St. Richard's Primary School.
yep. And then going into an environment like Pembroke Hall High School was completely 360 turn.
Wow.
Um, so initially when I went, this young man coming in, polished, complete, and coming in with mixing with some hooligans. And so I now that I look back and now that there is a label for it,
Yes.
I was bullied in
Okay.
high school. And again, I had to start to defend myself.
Yes.
And my first fight that I got in, I won the fight. And then when I won that fight, then, all the other boys, they learned that, okay, don't mess with him. So no, they wanted to be my friends because they saw that I could fight. And I didn't, because I just never got along with it. I didn't have a lot of male friends
Yes.
growing up. I was
Yes.
always with the girls, and so the girls were my friend, And so then I became friends with a lot of the girls, and then a lot of the girls, they were with the bad guys, the thugs.
Yes.
And then if the other guys would trouble me, then the girls would get in the fight, and then nobody wanted to fight the girl because they got their thugs to come and defend them, and nobody wanted that.
Wow.
So,
So you have defenders.
oh, I did.
Oh
I
wow.
certainly did. Yes. So, that was it like for Pembroke Hall. And then, yeah, and I was a teacher's pet, in high school, that along with a few few teachers really loved me. Mrs. Shields Green, Mrs. Bryan, Mrs. Walters. So many teachers really loved me. Yeah. So high school uh, was a journey. My mother would defend me because my
Yes.
mother is going. She's coming to school.
Yes. Yes.
And my grandmother, they knew how soft I was as a child, and they understood that. So even like when I would come home from school, it was a shift school too. So
Yes.
when I was on the afternoon shift and I would come home from school, finish 5 o'clock, and I would, by the time I walk home, like 30 minutes walk, and I got home, and grandma, she's gonna always have like a cup of tea or
Hmm.
something to give me, like, come on, baby, or something like that. And so at dinner time and at the table when we were eating and talking, she would question me, how was school? Who troubled you? Did anybody trouble you today? And I would tell her, and she would say, okay, I'm coming down there tomorrow.
So your high school was in walking distance, 30
Yeah.
minutes.
Hmm.
Okay. Because nowadays kids don't walk to school anymore, even if it's 5 minutes.
I know.
Right? I never usually walk to high school, but I walked to what we call basic school.
Hmm.
So kindergarten school I walked to because it was within my community. But primary school and high school was far away from my community, so I had to take the bus and then walk from where the bus leave us to school, which can be like a 15-20 minutes walk to, depending on where the school is
Oh,
in Montego Bay. So it depends. For some people, it can be like a 5 minute walk
yeah.
because there's a bus stop that is closest to your school. Or for some, you might have to get off somewhere and you walk like a 15 minutes, 10-15 minutes walk. But
For me, all my schools that I went to, except when I went to Knox Community College, oh God, all of my schools were walking distance. Basic school, Central Church Primary, and Pembroke Hall High School. You know what? After high school, my mother felt like I was too soft. And
mm-hmm.
there's this program in Jamaica called the National Youth
Oh,
Service.
NYS. Yes.
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 So my mother felt like I needed to be toughened up a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
And they have a program with Knox Community College at the time. So I went away and boarded for
Yes.
6 months.
Because Knox is in
Manchester.
Manchester. Yes.
And
I
it's
know where it is. Yes.
so cold, totally opposite from Kingston
Yes.
weather. And
Shout out to Colleyville.
oh, Jesus, it was not very pleasant. And, and you were surrounded by soldiers. Like
Mhm.
if I was walking on the campus, they just see you, no, get down, press.
Because it's kind of
Press
like a
was push up.
boot
Yeah,
camp type of situation. Yes.
yeah. So it was rough. It was so rough for me. I cried every freaking day.
Really.
Yes, I did. I wanted to go home so badly. The first week I went there, I went to the head of the program. I'm like, I cannot stay. I want to go home. And this is too much for me. And now, in retrospect, my mental health was not well for the program. And so, yeah.
Is it the
But
mental health wasn't well, or you were just too soft for the program?
I think that, you know what, it was a
You
combination
were.
of both. My mental health was not really well because a lot of the guys that came in the program, these were guys from the more, um, you know,
Hard and neighborhoods.
yes, of Jamaica,
Yes.
some thuggish, like, diverse group of guys and
Yes.
stuff. Poor me coming from a Christian home, I a Christian and so forth. So yeah.
But also, in retrospect, do you think it did you any good?
Um, you know what? I always try to look at life that every experience I have did me good.
Yes.
Because either that I didn't like it going in, but I left with a different perspective about something and about experience. So I'm not going to say it didn't. I'm going to say that it did.
Okay, that's good. And it's a good way to look on life.
Yeah.
Because sometimes we spend time looking on the darker side that we don't see the light.
I think that's one of the things too, just as general humans, we find ourselves and how we amplify the negative and
Mm-hmm.
the positive a lot of times that we do not, put ourselves and pat ourselves on the back from time to time and say, you did good, bro. Like, what's up? Yeah.
Anthony, as an adult, in Jamaica. Let's talk about Anthony as an adult in Jamaica before we talk about Anthony as an adult in the US.
Anthony as an adult in Jamaica.
Yes.
So after NYS, I got my first like official job,
Mm-hmm.
and that was with Jamaica Customs, King
Yes.
Street,
Oh.
and I was in internal audit. And of course, fresh out of high school, first job, they just took me like their little son and stuff. You know, Jamaican mothers are. They like take on to you, protect you, and all of that.
Yes.
So I was the little baby of the internal audit department. After that, I joined the National Land Agency. I
Okay.
went to the valuations commissioner's office. Mrs. Pearl Pickett, God bless her soul, she went home, and Mrs. Pickett treated me like such a son.
Wow.
Yes, Mrs. Pickett had arrangement where she ensured that I got my breakfast every morning from the cafeteria. She paid for this out of her personal salary and ensure that I would, get home safe and all of that. After that, I was then Mrs. Pickett went on leave, and then I was transferred to Hanover Street, downtown Kingston,
Woo.
to the legal department,
Yes.
and then I met some cool attorneys. And of course, you had those who you just were not so cool either, because in legal department, I had to work with some guys from records department and, you know, uncultured from a different socioeconomic class and culture. Their social forces were different from my social forces.
Yes.
Um, so yeah, after that, I was doing so much government job, civil servant.
Oh
So
yes.
then I
You were
went
the
to
true patriot.
yes.
Yes.
So I went to Children Hospital,
Mm-hmm.
and I worked with Dr. Lawrence in radiology, which was a great experience as well. And, she took on to me too, like she was a mother, really looked out for me and protected me in a lot of things. Dr. Lawrence, God bless her. And after that, then, you know what? I felt like I had enough of government.
Government.
So I went to private sector because I wanted more money.
Yes.
Civil government job weren't paying as much as private sector. So I decided to join private sector. So I went to COK Sodality, and I did customer service there. I think I did a little with Clara too for some time.
Mm-hmm.
And after that, I said to myself that, you know what, F this. I've had enough of getting up and going to work. So then I started my own company, Glow
Yes.
by Tony. And
Glow by Tony.
yes,
Yeah.
I imported cosmetics, beauty
Mm-hmm.
products, skincare, and I sold those wholesale and retail. So as the business grew, we expanded, and I had all the offices that I used to work. I went back and I sold them retail. Then there was this store wanted. I went there one day, I did promotion, and the reception was great.
Yes.
And after that, they became my client. So I started to sell them wholesale, and eventually I spoke with the owner, and she really liked me, so she gave me a space on one of the
On the
shelves.
shelf.
So
Wow.
I started off with one shelf in the
Mm-hmm.
store
Mm-hmm.
until I took up an entire block.
Wow.
Yeah, and as that grew, and we started off with two girls, and
Oh, you employed.
oh yes, honey, I was
Oh,
building the economy,
oh,
honey.
I
Okay,
see.
yes, and it started off with those girls. Those girls started to maintain a present in the stores and
Mm-hmm.
so forth, and we just used that and went through it. And I started doing with the magazines and stuff. So I started working with a lot of Jamaica's more elite, and in the beauty, like the Althea Langs,
Yes.
the Casey Fennells,
Oh,
Joan
yes.
McDonald's, Christine Straw. And that was great because all these girls are like Miss Jamaica World, Miss
Mm-hmm.
Universe Jamaica, and so forth. So, yeah. And I did that until I left Jamaica.
Oh.
Mhm.
So, what were some of your challenges as a business owner?
One of my challenge was Um, as the business expanded, I wanted I wanted a car because I wasn't driving at the time. I was taking a lot of taxi,
Yes.
and I wanted a car. And when I went to the bank, I said I wanted a loan to buy a car. They said to me, "Okay, so how you going to pay back?" And I'm like, "This is my company. I work for myself, and so forth." And they're like, "Okay, no, that's not how it's done. You need to register the business, and then you need to start pass money through the business."
Yes.
And so they taught me that. And then now I went to Companies Office of Jamaica, registered the business, got the business name, everything. And then I went back now and I opened a business account with the bank. And when I opened the business account now, of course, I started passing money through the account. I got my little machine now, swipe the card. So, of course, this really boosted my sales too because
Yes.
no sales was passing. Unlike one time I was, you know, cash would pass or credit
Yes.
card would pass.
Yes.
Nothing was passing now. So that was good. And those were some of the challenges. Also, I was doing beauty and skincare, predominantly women feel,
Mm-hmm.
and not so many males were in that profession at the time when I was in Jamaica.
Yes.
So, of course, you met with the homophobic slurs from uncultured, exposed people. So I had to overcome that. But of course, like a true diamond, of course, diamonds
Oh
are made under
yes.
pressure.
Yes.
So, of course, a little pressure and a little heat applied, and look at me now.
Look at you now. Glowing like glow by Tony.
Hello.
Yeah. How is America treating you?
Oh, America, America.
Yes. Yes.
America has changed me in so many ways. Um, well, of course, when I was in Jamaica, I started college and then I stopped
Mm-hmm.
because I was making all this money.
Yes. So
Like,
there was no need
yeah,
for
I was
college
making
anymore.
millions. So I was like, "Oops, education, what's that?" So I was like, I'm not interested in that. I'm going after the money. I want the dough.
Yes.
So I did that. But when I got to America, and because I was in beauty, I felt like, okay, let me go and do beauty school. Did that, nothing. I was doing modeling in Jamaica, went
Mm-hmm.
to modeling and acting school here. I am a trained actor and a trained model. And I went to school for this in America. I did a few background acting, some modeling, and, they weren't matching up with the money.
Yes.
And so in COVID, I got the wake up that, and then I was in the airline industry at the time. And, with the flight restrictions and so forth, I was like, okay, what am I going to do? So then I started school, and that changed everything, you know. And that's when I was like, okay, well, this is a new path.
Mm-hmm.
America has been good. Um, America comes with its downfalls too, Several times I've fallen in the valley, and just perseverance just really brought me back. Yeah.
Yeah. You have to maintain that level of perspective and that level head
Oh.
and try to pull yourself back at times.
Yeah. You know what? Pulling yourself back, I would also say that it is important that you know who your board of director is. you know like me, I have you guys that are like my great support system, and you guys are like my board of directors that I could come to you and say something to you, and you're going to give me your honest feedback about it. And you guys are like my soil as well. Like, I am a flower, but it's also the soil that you are around, that really determines how much this flower will produce as well. Because sometimes you're in the friendship circles and you need to change it. You need to get a different soil. The soil is not good for the flower. So yeah, I would definitely tell people that while you have to also do the work yourself,
Mm-hmm.
your support system is also plays a critical role in that. Like college. You used to annoy me with college. Like we're at the beach and you're just like, when are you going back to school, Anthony? And I'm like, what's wrong with him? Like, no, I'm done. You know. So yeah, and your friend creating space for you to just be yourself, understand that, you know, this is me, whatever, whatever, and so forth. And those are the things that I'm like just really grateful for my friends, that I don't have to come and present a version to my friends, but I can just come and be Anthony. And that is important.
Yes, it's important to have safe spaces, especially amongst friends
Yeah.
and also family. But sometimes you find it more amongst friends. The way you can just be yourself,
Yeah. It's
and
good to,
whoever that self is,
yeah, whatever it looks like, whatever it shows up
yes, whatever
as,
it shows up
be it,
as,
like, do
yes.
it. It's good to have the family support as well,
Hmm.
but I always say and I always believe that there is nothing like chosen family,
True,
you know
true.
and so you, while you have your biological family that you were born with, the opportunity to choose your family is important. So sometimes you just gotta do what you gotta do.
And now Anthony's in college.
Oh, yes. So Anthony went to Kingsborough Community College.
Shout out to Kingsborough.
And yes, so I finished there, went through and did so many things because I didn't know that I was going to be so great in college
So were you
either.
teacher's pet at Kingsborough as well?
I was president's pet.
Oh, oh!
The president personally came to our house, my house, and on this campaign that she was on called the Welcome Wagon,
Hmm.
and I met her, and immediately we connected right there. And I told her that I came to Kingsborough before because I went to the continuing education school there, and
Yes.
I did the paralegal certificate, all of that, all the legal stuff that I done there, but I didn't start at the college here as yet. And I told her, and she's like, no problem. My college is my door president's office is open door policy. Come and see me and so forth. And I went through, saw her, and then I wanted to join student government, but then I needed a 2.5 GPA to join student government. And
Hmm.
after my first semester completed with 3.9 GPA,
All right.
hello,
Yes,
and
keep the
then
grades up.
I was inducted into Phi Theta Kappa Honor Society. And
Hmm.
after that, after my induction, I ran a successful campaign, won my office chief of staff in the student government. So
Look at
part of
that.
that, I got to represent the student body
Hmm.
to the president on several committees, college funds, college budget, appropriations committee, and all of that, the auxiliary committee, and all of that. So that sat on a few commission thing there, went on dean's list, and successfully graduated from Kingsborough.
But while you were doing all that school activities, maintaining a 3.9 GPA, you also had a job.
Oh yes, yes.
Yes.
Yes, I had a very demanding job at the time. I was working at the
The airport.
airport, John F.
Yes.
Kennedy, and I was with Virgin Airlines, the
Yes.
Virgin Lounge. And that was such a stressful job because, several mornings I needed to be at work by 3 o'clock in the mornings.
Hmm.
So I would go to work from 3 o'clock in the morning, work until about 10 o'clock. Sometimes we have short staff, they call out, you know, they're asking me
10
if I
p.m.
could.
or 10 a.m.
Sometimes I worked up to 10 p.m.
So when do you go to school? Like what was your school schedule? Because you go to work at 3.
At the time, it was mostly asynchronous because we were still in COVID.
Oh, okay, okay.
Hmm.
Yes.
So most of the classes were asynchronous. So the managers were really nice too. So for the asynchronous classes, I could do them whenever,
Hmm.
as long as I got the homework submitted before Sunday 11:59 p.m. It's a CUNY school,
11:59 p.m.
City University of New York.
Yes.
Shout out to New York, y'all. And so yes, and then for my synchronous classes that we met online at a set time,
Yes.
those classes they were okay with me to go to the classes. I mean, my managers know me. They know my work ethic. They know my standards. They know that I am an asset. Like, they're gonna work with me like to make it happen. Yeah,
Good,
and
good.
at the time I was doing like 7 classes with a full-time job that over
Wow.
40 hours every week.
Wow.
Yeah. It was tough, but
Amazing. But you pulled through.
well, you better fucking pull through.
Oh, yes.
When you don't have an option, you got to make it happen.
Oh, definitely.
Hmm.
And now you finish Kingsborough and you're now at.
So now, so in CUNY system, we have a criminal justice academy. If you
Yes.
majored in criminal justice in a CUNY community college,
Mm-hmm.
you get a seat at John Jay College of Criminal Justice if you had a 3.0 GPA.
3.0 or above.
3.0 or above, you
Yes.
automatically got a seat at John Jay College of Criminal Justice through the CUNY Justice Academy.
Yes.
Of course, with my GPA, I was guaranteed a seat. And so when the Justice Academy reached out to me and asked me if I'm interested in a seat at John Jay. I told them yes, I am, and so forth. So then I did the application, went through, got accepted, everything, and then I started John Jay. My major is still criminal justice, double minor in law and political science.
All right. All right. Will
Yes.
you be running for president along Trump anytime soon?
No, because the Constitution of the United States prohibits one that was not born
Born in
in
the
these United States to run for
pres.
office.
You can run for office, but I think not for
For president,
president.
for the office of the president, I
President,
meant.
yes,
Yes.
yes,
Yeah. You can run for Congress, Senate,
yes.
and so forth, but not for
Not
the
for
office of the
president.
president. Mhm.
Okay. Unfortunately.
Unfortunately.
We might have to send you back to Jamaica.
Oh no.
Why? Oh no.
um my ambitions have shifted and my
Hmm.
philosophical perspective on things have changed, and I don't think my skills would be best used in Jamaica. Jamaica in a lot of things look to the US, look to us to implement changes. So I think where else to start with those changes in the United States, and so Jamaica can one day look to the US, take these policies and laws and implement that in her own country.
Okay, so while you're not living there, you're still hoping to make an impact.
Absolutely. I hope to make an impact in the world, around the world, that if I have touched the life of one person, I am okay with that, to know that I have managed to contribute it to that development, to that person becoming, that person finding themselves and just being you.
Yes, yes. But I'm sure you, in your own time and your own space now, you are still impacting lives. Because you're impacting lives even at work, because you still work
Yeah.
and you're still going to school, you're still meeting people, you're still socializing. So you're still impacting people's life and affecting change. And that's one of the things that it's not all gestures don't have to be grand.
Yeah.
Some can be very small, but for that person, it's a grand gesture.
Yeah. And you know what? In Jamaica, we have this saying where we say, what is joke to you is dead to somebody.
Yes.
And so that also highlights that what you may consider to be minor change for somebody, it's
It's
a
major
major for the
change.
other
Yes,
person,
yes.
so not because it's minor to you mean it's minor to them, so a little empathy a lot of time goes a far way.
Yeah. True.
Yeah.
What's next?
What is next?
Yes.
What's next? God no. There's so many that I like. through my head that is next, but I really need to put it together to really come next and so forth. So next, I don't know. Immediately right now, I just want to finish school,
Mm-hmm.
and once I'm done with school, I feel like my mind will be clear to like really sit and analyze where I am and the where I envision myself and what it will take to get there. Because one of the things I try not to do is to set false hope and just stupid, ridiculous goals like, oh, I'm going to
Yeah.
do this, I'm going to do that, just because it sounds good or so. No, I don't want to do that. So I have to sit down and really think critically and look at things and make a informed decision on where I want to go. But immediately, what I do know right now is that I want to finish school. And after I finish school, I may continue with school. But if I should continue with school, it would definitely be law school. Because for me, like personally in the US, I mean, education is great. It gives you the advantage to think critically and use your critical thinking skills to analyze things and so forth. But you don't need a master's to get your way to success in the US. And I don't want to be one of the professional students, who goes to school after school after school after school. I don't want to become with that. And then they're just shrunk in debt, student debt, and student loan debt, and all that. So I don't want to become a part of that. And I want to find myself and something that I will enjoy doing. Maybe I'll think of like PR and so forth. I love people. I love PR.
Mm-hmm.
I've also considered nonprofit, working for nonprofit because I love philanthropic. I love giving back. Just changing lives. I love that. So those are the things that are immediately in my head
Yeah,
now.
and those are the things you're passionate about.
Yeah.
And one of the things too, life is so much easier when you do things that you're passionate about.
Yeah, and the other day I was talking to my friend and we were talking about work and stuff, and he said to me that, you know what, Anthony, when you reach the point where you start to be like, shit, another fucking day in that job, it's time to go, and I'm like, yeah, it's definitely time to go, yeah, so we'll see.
Shift in the
You
wind.
you will be
Shift,
informed.
shift in the wind.
Shaking the table.
Oh yes, as we go through life, things change, we change.
Yeah,
A lot of things about me has changed over the years. I've
absolutely.
grown.
Yes, you have become
Uh,
bald.
I've become bald. Yes, one major change.
Yes, you have become bearded.
Yes, I mean the beard has always been there, but maybe not this
Extra
much.
beard.
Extra bearded, yes.
Yes,
And change is inevitable.
yes,
And I don't know where the wind will blow you, Anthony, but
yes.
what I do know, anywhere you go, you will be great.
Oh, thank you.
Because my experience with you over the years is that what you put your time to,
Yeah.
what you put your mind to,
Hmm.
um, you always come out on the brighter side.
Thank you.
So I have no doubt that you will do well after you have passed this phase and moved on to the next phase of your life.
Well, thank you so much. I wish you all the very best on your podcast,
Oh, thank you very
and
much.
that
And
you will grow and soar. And as we become better versions
yes,
of
of
ourselves
ourselves.
daily, by the minute, some hourly, you know, I know you will definitely continue to do that. And what really makes you happy and bring you the joy and everything that you want for yourself, I know that you will absolutely get it too. You're very meticulous, smart, strategic, outgoing, love a fun time, and so forth. Shady. We have learned to deal with that. But yes,
I have
um,
some,
you're
but
great.
it's not
Yes.
providing enough shade for you.
Well, you're the shady one of the group. So shady, let me crown you the shady one of the group.
But thank you very much, Anthony, for being so candid
Yes.
and open about your journey through life so far. And I do appreciate you taking the time out to do this.